When I look back at the past, I think about how my understanding of the Bible has grown. But if I had this level of understanding earlier, I would have seen the Gulf War as a definite start of World War III. So today it doesn't matter how severe the news may seem, the truth remains uncertain, as we cannot predict which global event will be the trigger for the end until it actually unfolds. But back then, it was just one event, a minor blip in global affairs. But today we find ourselves in the midst of several potential apocalyptic events all happening at the same time. With escalating tensions in Israel, it's a moment for vigilance and prayer. Interestingly, I came across a video on an unrelated channel hosted by a woman known for her reaction videos. I had never watched her content before, but this particular video kept appearing on my homepage, but I refused to click on it. But a dream I had on Saturday night changed my mind. The dream featured the title of a book called The Fourth Turning and its cover. I kept seeing this picture in my head over and over again. When I woke up, I decided to watch the video, and it revealed something really interesting. The Fourth Turning is written by William Strauss and Neil Howe. It's a book that presents a generation theory based on historical cycles. It suggests that history unfolds in roughly 80-year cycles, called a cyclical, with 4 distinct turnings. The first one is the high, second one is the awakening, third one is the unraveling, and then the fourth is crisis. In the first cycle, the high turning is characterized by strong institutions and a sense of collectivism. Society is generally stable and prosperous with a focus on community and order. The second cycle is called the awakening. Institutions are challenged and there is a shift towards personal and spiritual autonomy. This period is marked by passionate social and cultural movements. The third cycle is called the unraveling. Institutions weaken, trust decline, and individual becomes dominant. This era can be marked by societal unrest and focus on personal pursuits. The last cycle is called the crisis, a time of significant crisis, upheaval, and historical climax. This phase is often marked by economic and political turmoil with the potential for major conflict. The authors argue that history tends to repeat itself in these cycles, with each turning influencing the generations differently. The fourth turning suggests that understanding these patterns can help predict and prepare for future societal changes and challenges. So here's where it gets interesting. Each turning in the past ended with war. The first turning ended with the Revolutionary War that went from 1775 to 1783. Then 80 years later, the second turning ended with the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865. And then 80 years later, the third turning ended with World War II, 1939 to 1945. Now we're at the fourth turning. According to the book, the crisis began in 2008 and will last to 2028, roughly give or take a few years. While the authors of the fourth turning refrain from making war predictions for this cycle, it's becoming increasingly difficult to ignore the sense of inevitability. The current powers in play appear determined in their pursuit of war, and much of the news reinforces this road to war. It's important to note that the ultimate force behind all these world leaders and their inclinations towards conflict is the Most High. The Most High is behind all these things. So let's start by reading Isaiah chapter 13 verse 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms of nations together. The Most High of hosts mustered the host of the battle. Isaiah chapter 13 verse 4 depicts the assembling of a large and powerful army with the sound of a multitude compared to noises in the mountain, signifying a significant tumultuous gathering of forces from various nations. These forces are under the Most High's control and sovereignty, are mobilized to execute divine judgment against Babylon. The verse uses vivid imagery to convey the magnitude and the intensity of the divine ordained military action. Joel chapter 3 verse 2. And I will gather all nations, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Joel chapter 3 verse 2 describes Elohim's intention to gather all nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat, where he will judge them for their treatment of the Israelites. The nations are accused of scattering the Israelites and dividing their land. The verse suggests a divine assembly of judgment of nations due to their actions against Elohim's chosen people. The point of all this, the Most High is the one who is pulling the strings. Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art taken. O Babylon, and thou wast not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Most High. Jeremiah 50:24 reveals that Babylon has fallen into a trap set by Elohim without realizing it. This occurs because Babylon has opposed the Most High. The verse suggests that due to Babylon's defiance and action against Elohim, it has been ensnared and caught unexpectedly, leading to its downfall. I often come across numerous YouTube videos from various perspectives and beliefs, and it appears that each message becomes increasingly muddled. It seems that many may not fully understand the Most High or anything about Him. It's why I believe some advocate for praying to Mary, others to Christ, others attribute their suffering to the devil. They would rather believe a lie than discover the Most High's true personality. This is why most people believe the Bible is fake, because the true personality of the Most High has been hidden from them. I believe deep down they know they should be afraid of Him, so they intentionally hide behind false narratives. The ultimate authority is always the Most High, and it's to Him alone we should direct our prayers. Blaming the devil for our problems will not lead us anywhere. We all need to find peace with our Creator through obedience to His commandments. Understanding the Creator's heart is set on war might not be straightforward to some due to the content that we consume. So let's read some scriptures that can shed light on the personality of the Most High, and we can understand why this war is inevitable. Isaiah chapter 47 verse 7. I form light, I create darkness, I make peace and create evil. I, the Most High, do all these things. Amos chapter 3 verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in a city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Most High hath not done it? Isaiah 45 verse 7 asserts that Elohim is the creator of both light and darkness, peace and calamity, highlighting Elohim's omnipotence and sovereignty over all things, both positive and negative. Amos chapter 3 verse 6 suggests that nothing, including calamities, happens in a city without Elohim's knowledge or allowance, emphasizing Elohim's control and involvement over all world events. Together, these verses underscore the belief of Elohim's absolute power and control over all events and elements in the universe, both good and bad. Now let's read Nahum chapter 1 verse 2. Elohim is jealous, and the Most High revengeth. The Most High revengeth and is furious. The Most High will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. The Most High is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Most High has his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and in the clouds are the dust of his feet. He rebuketh the sea and maketh it dry, and he dry up all the rivers. Bashan languish, and Carmel and the flower of Lebanon languish. The mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence, yea, the world and all that dwell therein. Who can stand before the Most High in his indignation? Who can abide its fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and rocks are thrown down by him. The Most High is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he know them that trust in him. But with an overflowing flood he will make an utter end of the place thereof, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. These verses from Nahum describe the immense power and the fierce nature of the Most High, emphasizing his capacity for wrath and vengeance against the wicked. While Elohim is described as being slow to anger and a refuge for those who trust in him, his wrath is depicted as overwhelming, affecting both nature and humanity. The verses highlight the Most High's control over natural phenomena like seas, rivers, and mountains, and questions who can withstand his anger. Despite his capacity for fury, the Most High is a sanctuary for the faithful during times of distress. That means even in stressful times, the commandments must be kept. To sum this all up, the prevailing Bible theme revolves around the Most High's strategy to overcome his adversaries and usher in a new era, one that will reshape our world as we currently perceive it. In essence, the fourth churning may not be regarded as a direct source of biblical inspiration, but it certainly serves as a poignant indicator of impending conflict on the horizon. This book is just one more indicator that war is on the future agenda and may have already begun. It's imperative that we remain vigilant and not underestimate the significance of these unfolding events. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.